Anyone in here a picky eater? I'm just curious. I might have most of you beat, but I'm about as picky of an eater. Like, my wife always tells people I have the diet of an 11-year-old, so it's great that I'm in middle school ministry. Like, I love chicken tenders, mac and cheese. Like, one of my favorite meals in the world is to go to Costco or Sam's Club and get the hot dog and soda combo for $1.50 and the $2 slice, or not even $2, $1.99 slice of cheese pizza, right? But there's this thing that happens, especially when you're growing up, and even I experience now, where you can't just eat junk food all the time. Your parents won't let you, and they're always like, eat your vegetables, right? You guys ever get that? Anyone here just hate veggies? Anyone just hate veggies? Anyone hate broccoli? Broccoli? Okay. I love broccoli. I'm just going to say that. I love broccoli. But here's what happens. You don't want to eat your veggies. You don't always want to eat what's good for you. But then your parents always say these words. Eat it. Why? Because it's good for you. Right? You guys ever heard that before? It's good for you. Maybe it's not just that, but maybe it's them saying, hey, you know what? You need to get off your games today. You need to go outside and play. Why? Because it's good for you. If you're facing the person behind you, you should turn around. Yeah. So often, we're told things throughout our life, and they might not be the things we always want to do. It might not be something we like to do. But in the end, when you hear the reasoning behind it, it's good for you. Now, we don't like being told what to do, though, right? We're independent. We're in charge of our lives. We want to do what we want to do. No one likes being told what to do. But in the end, we're given these rules by our parents. Sometimes we're given these punishments by our parents. Sometimes we're given these things by our parents. Why? Even though it's not what we want or feel like we need, it's good for us. So even in here, I briefly mentioned last week that we're going to go, not starting now, but now's a good time to start practicing. We're going to go to a no cell phone policy in service. To not be on your phone during the teaching, to not be using the Bible app, even though I know that could be a good thing, but all these distractions come your way, and we're actually going to reach out to your guys' parents and communicate to this and all of these things. And here's really, you guys ready for the reasoning behind it? Because it's good for you. What do you mean? Now, here's the thing. Some of y'all are so upset right now and so irritated. Like, they're treating us like little kids, right? I can't believe they would do that. How dare they? That's my phone. What am I going to do without my phone for 45 minutes? OMG. Oh, this is ridiculous, Sean. You are so, I can't believe, I'm going to high school, so this doesn't even matter because that is just so stupid that you would do that. Some of y'all right now are like literally cursing me in your head when you hear that we're going to go to something like that. But I literally look on and I say, but it's good for you. And if you truly, truly know me, there's some people in this room that I've known for years. And if you know my heart behind that, if you know my heart behind when I stand up here and say, hey guys, go to the bathroom before the teaching or wait till worship is over, but don't get up during the teaching unless it's an emergency. Don't get up for water during worship unless it's like you're dehydrated and you're going to die. Like, just wait. If you know me at all, you know it's not because I'm just this jerk who wants to be in control of your life, but you know it's because I care about you. And because I think it's good for you to sit in on a Bible study. I think it's good for you to sit in and hear God speak to you. Not me. I'm no genius. I'm an idiot. It's absolutely ridiculous that I get to do this because I'm so stupid. But God uses the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. It's not all these reasons that I'm just this mean, angry, bitter old man. But it's because I look on and I go, man, there's something that needs to happen. Because we've got to get some control over ourselves. And I'm not just saying this to you guys. I'm even saying this to myself. And we can pick any rule you want. We tell you, don't talk during service. Why? Because it's good for you. You don't want to be distracted. God wants to speak to you. Hey, don't do that. You hear all these things and you get frustrated. I get it. I'm not sitting here yelling at you all and going, don't get frustrated. I understand. I'd get frustrated too. But truly, truly, if you guys knew me, and developed a relationship with me, you would understand the heart behind this is not to be controlling, but the heart is that I want what is best for you. Because like I said, I'm your youth pastor. I like to think of myself as like a big brother to some of you guys. Like that's who I am. And I've put in so much time, so much effort, so many years into this because I'm so passionate about it, because I care about you guys so much. And I love what happens here in Exodus 20. God's about to give them 10 commandments. He's about to give the nation of Israel these 10 commandments. And it's so cool what happens though. Verse 1, it says this, "And God spoke all these words, saying, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage." So what happens first? Well, notice, before God gives any command, before any command is given, God reminds Israel who he is and what he's done. And if you guys were listening as I shared, I told you, who am I? I'm your youth pastor. I'm your big brother. I'm this person in your life that like loves you, cares about you. And I'm not comparing myself to God, but I've invested a lot of time into this, a lot of heart, a lot of energy, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and all of these things. And that's nothing. Like, what I've done is nothing. And who I am is nothing compared to who God is. And when you guys hear my heart and say, this is my heart for you, I want so much for you, you guys are capable of so much. You guys are literally going to do incredible things when you grow up if you allow God to use you. Like, I believe there is so much stinking potential in this room. I believe in you guys so much. There's going to be amazing things that happen. But first, I want you to be obedient to some stuff. And God's like, guys, I've got a plan for you, but look what I've done. I'm God. I am the Lord your God. I've brought you out of Egypt. I've brought you out of bondage. This is who I am. And because of who he is, and because of what he's done, we should want to obey him. Understand that because of who he is, he's God. And because of what he's done, he's delivered us from bondage. He's freed us from our sin. We should want to obey him. It's why we're obedient. Here's what I love. He didn't say, hey, you listen to me and you'll be free. Did God say that? No. What did he say? He said, hey, I already freed you. Can you listen to me? I already showed you I know what's best for you. Will you listen to me? I've already done all of these incredible things for you. Will you listen to me? And here's the thing. It's easier to listen to him if you know him. I truly believe this. If there's some just random person who comes up here, guy who's never spoken up here before, and he goes, guys, you have no idea how much I love you. Y'all are going to be like, dude, we just met you. What are you talking about? And then he's going to be like, hey, I want you to just fall off of this on trust fall. I'm going to catch you. Why would I don't know you, dude. And then I come running up. Get out of here, sir. I've never seen you before. And it was just some random dude who snuck in and grabbed a mic, right? Like, y'all wouldn't listen to him. Now, I know I play a lot of pranks and stuff, but I think if it came down to it, you guys would trust me. Why? Because you've known me for years. If you truly, truly know God and love him and follow, it's going to be easier to listen to him. But when you don't have a deep relationship with him, you start to hear this stuff and you go, that's kind of annoying. That's kind of hard to follow. So 10 commandments. We're going to breeze through these super fast. Number 1, verse 3. You shall have no other gods before me. No other gods. Now, often we think of this as just putting something ahead of God, which is true. We shouldn't. We should never put anything above God in our lives. But what this actually means is when he says before me, he literally means before me. Now, as we go through this list, I want you to think, have I done this? Have I done these things? When he says before me, he means like in front of me. Like, don't have any other gods to my face. And when I say gods, I'm not saying like, okay, you're a Christian, but you also believe in like Allah, or you worship Buddha as well. Like, a god is literally anything really that you worship, anything that you really just put into your life to fill voids, anything that you turn to before him. So for me, it's really easy. There's times where my God is literally sports. I get so excited. Guys, I'm so excited for Game 7 tomorrow night for the Miami Heat. Like, we're literally driving to Orlando tomorrow for a wedding on Monday. And all I can think about is we better get there and get to our hotel so I can watch the Heat game. It's like all I care about. And something like that could start to become a God in your life because you're putting it first. You guys have probably had moments like that with different things. But then look at this. Number 2, he says, verse 4, you shall not make for yourself a carved image, any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the 3rd and 4th generations of those who hate me, but showing mercy to thousands, to those who love me and keep my commandments. So number 2, no carved images. So what does this mean? Now this one, I don't feel like you guys would struggle with as much because I don't feel like you guys probably have like statues of religious figures in your room that you pray to. But this is a very real thing in different Christian denominations of Christianity. There's statues of Jesus and statues of Peter in certain sanctuaries and cathedrals around the world that literally the feet have been completely deformed in these statues from people kissing these statues. Isn't that kind of weird? But then take it to this next level. You got a cross necklace. And you begin almost praying to that cross necklace. Like whatever this is, whatever that image is, whatever that picture is, whatever that religious symbol is. But God says tells us not to do this. Why? Because he's jealous for you. Because he loves you so much that he wants your attention on him, not on these other things. Number 3 says this, verse 7, you shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. For the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. Don't take his name in vain. Do you guys know the Lord's Prayer? Anyone? What's it say? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be. Do you guys know what that means? When you say, hallowed be thy name, holy be your name. Set apart is your name. So powerful is your name. So wonderful is your name. I am so guilty of this one. How do you take his name in vain? So many people think it's just using his name as a curse word. Of just saying his name and when people drop a JC, you know what I'm talking about? They stub their toe and they're like, right? You know what I'm talking about? Or they say the gosh darn it type thing, but they say his name in the other word. Yes, that is taking his name in vain. That's using his name as a curse word. But that's not the only way you take his name in vain. Another way you do it is literally straight up just a lack of reverence. You guys have maybe seen this before, but someone's praying and they just say his name over and over and over again. Can you imagine if I was talking to Alex back there? And I was just like, hey, Alex, what's up, man? It's good to see you, Alex. Alex, how you doing? Alex, everything going good? Good, Alex. Good. Yeah, that's really cool, Alex. Alex, how are you? Do I do that? No. God's name is holy. So when I'm talking to him and I just throw it out there as so simple, as an afterthought, as a comma, or as a period at the end of a sentence, I'm taking his name in vain. Or maybe through hypocrisy. Hey, he told me. Did he tell you? Well, no, but I'm going to say that he told me. You go up to that girl, you hey, he told me we're meant to be together. Right? No, he didn't. That's taking his name. That's using his name for a lie. That is taking his name in vain. So if your parents say, did you pray about it? And you're like, yes, and here's what he told me. That's not what he told you. That's taking his name in vain. That's a sin. And something I want you guys to notice as we continue to go through this list, these things are all good for you. These things are all really good for you. These things are all like you even almost like take out the Christianity aspect of some of this and you go, wait, that's actually a good way to live. These commands are truly, truly good for you. But number 4, verse 8, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor, do all your work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it you shall do no work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them. Rested the 7th day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. So we're supposed to remember the Sabbath. But here's the thing, guys. Our rest is in Jesus. We as Christians aren't bound by this law of Sabbath anymore. The New Testament actually talks about all of these except this one, because Jesus is our rest now. We rest in Jesus, but God actually created us needing to rest. This is good for us. It's why little kids take naps, right? You ever see a little kid who skipped their nap and they're just a royal tear and their parents are like, oh yeah, he didn't have his nap today. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Like, it's the worst, but we need rest. You guys are young and you go. Weekend rolls around, you go. Y'all need to rest. You really do. Rest is good for you. You know what's horrible is when you're on this thing and that low power mode thing comes on. Got 20% of your battery. Oh no. And then it goes to like 10%. And then it like turns off on you. Why? Because eventually this needs to recharge. Our bodies were built the same way. They need to rest. So God's giving you this command because it's good for you. Now here's my favorite. Those are all about God and how we interact with Him. The next 6 are how we interact with others. Ready? Number 5, verse 12. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which the Lord your God is giving you. Do I need to talk about that one? Bible says, children, obey your parents, for in the Lord this is right. Honor your father and mother. But what does he even say with that? We've talked about commands followed by promises, right? That your days may be long. Right? Here's the thing, right? No matter what, they are your mother and father. You're called to honor them, to respect them. And that doesn't end once you're 18, once you're in your mid-20s and you get married and you have kids of your own. We actually live in a world today. You know what one of my most hated phrases is in the world? Okay, boomer. You know why I don't like it? I get it. Some older people can be like unrealistic. Sometimes they talk about young people, they're so rude, but they're yelling at the cashiers at Publix. You guys probably have witnessed this, right? Like there's some old people who are like, the world is so bad because of these young kids. Hey, bag boy, bring my bags to my car, right? You're like, what is wrong with you? But you know what? That's not on us. What we need to do is we need to respect our elders. When we grow up and our parents get older, hey, we're not under their rule anymore, but we should still honor them. We should honor the elderly really in the same way that we would want to be honored once we're old. So he tells us to honor our father and mother. Number 6, this one's probably got all of you. Verse 13, you shall not murder. Okay, none of you have done that, hopefully. But here's the thing. The Bible actually tells us in the New Testament, Jesus talked about this law, and he said it begins in the heart. Being angry towards someone. Literally that simple, being angry towards someone. So when I said we're going to go to a no phone policy, right? When I said that earlier, because you were faced this way and you weren't turned around talking to Messi. When I said we're going to do that, some of y'all had anger in your heart towards me. And you're all like, I can't believe, you know what, we should get rid of him. No, hopefully you didn't think that. But seriously, it begins in the heart. Number 7, it says in verse 14, you shall not commit adultery. You shall not commit adultery. Once again, Jesus said this begins in the heart. Even having a thought towards another person. Now, adultery, if you don't know, really what it is a married person has a relationship with someone outside of their marriage. But the Old Testament or the New Testament opens this up more to us that says literally adultery begins in the heart. You have an unclean thought towards another girl or girls. You have an unclean thought towards a guy or you watch something on your phone or your computer or your tablet or whatever it is that you shouldn't. That's adultery. It says we shouldn't do that. Number 8, verse 15, you shall not steal. Now that's pretty self-explanatory. Hopefully you guys haven't stolen stuff. But I want to take this a step deeper. Don't steal from God. What do I mean, don't steal from God? Now, not tithing, but that's a good example. He calls us to tithe, to give him our first fruits. But I want to take this even a deeper level. The Bible says, you are not your own. You were bought at a price. If you're in here today and you consider yourself a Christian and you're not acting with the gifts, talents, and abilities that God has given you to glorify him, to worship him, to have a relationship with him, you know what you're doing? You're stealing from him because he gave you something amazing and you're not doing anything with it. That's stealing from God. When you don't give him your first fruits, when you literally don't read your Bible or pray in a day, you're literally stealing from him. He gave you that day. This is the day the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. He created you to have a relationship with him. And when you're not doing those things, you're stealing from him. Number 9 says, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. Or, ready? Don't lie. Anyone in here ever tell a lie? Yeah, I'm guilty. I'm guilty. Like when I said I'm going to miss the 8th graders, that was the truth. That was the truth. That was just kidding, guys, right? But here's the thing. Lying is not just telling like just a straight up lie. Sometimes it's spreading rumors. Sometimes it's flattery. Oh yeah, you look good. She looks like a clown. What is she doing? Why? What was your hairstylist thinking? Oh my gosh. You look horrible. Hey, you don't want to lie. You don't have to be mean. But you don't want flattery. You don't want slander. You don't want to spread rumors. And number 10, the 10th commandment, you shall not covet. Verse 17. This actually says don't pant after. Or don't be. You guys ever see someone who has something you want? That's coveting. Oh, I want those shoes. I want that phone. I want that car. Oh, I want that jewelry. I want that shirt. Oh, you have season passes there. Oh my gosh, I'm so jealous. Your parents have all those streaming services. Oh my gosh, I'm so jealous. Oh, you got a PS5. I still have a PS4. They're so hard to get. I'm so jealous. Your life is so cool. My life sucks. That's coveting. It's wanting what someone else has. So what's the purpose of all this, guys? I just went through all these commands. What these commands are is, it's getting loud. It's not expecting us to keep these. I think we've all gone through these and said, I failed. Anyone else want to agree? Who's failed? We all have, right? But these commands are like a mirror. What do you do with a mirror? A mirror is to make sure you look good. I woke up this morning with a white head the size of Jupiter on my nose. Okay? I wouldn't have known it if it didn't poke me in the eye. But no, if I didn't look in the mirror this morning, I wouldn't have seen it, and I wouldn't have been able to erupt Mount Vesuvius on Pompeii in order to get rid of this zit on my nose. What does a mirror do? It reveals your flaws. Right? It reveals your flaws. It shows you how short you've come. That's why God gave us these laws, not to show us just, oh, this is what you need to do, and if you don't do it, you're terrible, but to show us our flaws. But here's the thing, a mirror doesn't fix it, right? The mirror didn't pop my zit. I had to turn to something else, my fingers, right? A mirror doesn't fix my hair. I got like a haircut today. I had to turn to my barber because I tried to cut my hair myself during COVID. It was looking pretty bad. So I went to a barber. He cut my hair for me. God gave us these laws as a mirror but also as guardrails, as a guide, because they're good for us. But I love what he did in Mark 12. Can we throw those verses up on the screen? Mark 12. One of the scribes came, having heard them reasoning together, perceiving he'd answered them well, asked him, which is the first commandment of all? Jesus answered him, the first of all the commandments is, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Now ready, verse 30. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. This is the first commandment. And the second like it is this, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these. So the scribe said to him, well said, teacher. You have spoken the truth, for there is one God, and there is no other but he. Now ready? And to love him with all the heart, with all the understanding, all the soul, all the strength, to love one's neighbor as oneself is more than all the whole burnt offerings and sacrifices. So what did Jesus do? He took all of these commands and the 613 Levitical laws that come later in the Bible, and he turned them into something very simple. Love God, love people. Very simple. Love God, love people. It's this whole list of things that you can't, don't. God said, you know what? I want you to do two things. Love me and love the people that I created. Welcome to 678, where we love God, love people. And I tell you, when you love God and you love people, you will have fun. I promise you that. 8th graders, if you learn to love God and love people now, I promise you you'll have fun. Guys, we're never meant to keep the law, but the plan was for Jesus to fulfill it. And really, it's all about love. It really, truly is. It is good for us. Write this down. We can obey God without loving him. Right? And I feel like this is so many of us, and I'll finish reading the quote in a second, but this is so many of us. Christianity is this whole list of rules. You come to church, you go to Christian school, you just do all these things, but you don't really love God. But you're still obedient to him. You can do that. That was my testimony. For the first 18 years of my life, I didn't do anything bad. I mean, I did some bad things. I wasn't perfect, but I was a good kid. I was a straight A student. I didn't party. I didn't do drugs. I literally didn't do anything bad. I was obedient to God, but I didn't love him. But if you love him, you will obey him. Out of the love in your heart for him, you will obey him. Guys, here's what God wants from you. Ready? God wants love. That's all he wants. The Bible tells us faith, hope, and love are some good things he gave us, but the greatest of these is love. We're going to close in verse 18 through 21. It says, now all the people, if you guys remember, before Moses went up on the mountain, there was this crazy, almost like a natural disaster. Thunder, lightning, fire, smoke. All the people witnessed the thunderings, the lightning flashes, the sound of the trumpet, the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, ready? They trembled and stood afar off. Then they said to Moses, you speak with us and we will hear. But let not God speak with us, lest we die. Moses said to the people, do not fear, for God has come to test you, that his fear may be before you, so that you may not sin. Now, verse 21, look at this. Circle this verse, underline this verse, remember this verse. So the people stood afar off, but Moses drew near the thick darkness where God was. Guys, you can hear all this. You can hear cell phone policy, bathroom stuff. You can hear me say I love you and care about you and all those things. And you can hear these commands from God, and you can hear him saying, I want you guys to love me. I want you to love people. Here's the plan. I'm the Lord your God who delivered you. He's delivered you. He's provided for you. He's given you life. He's breathed breath into your lungs. That's what he's done for you. He's freed you. If you've given your life to him, he's freed you. And you can respond in two ways. These people, said they stayed at a distance. How do you watch God part the Red Sea and stay away from him? How do you watch God provide manna from heaven and quails from heaven for you to eat and stay away from him? How do you watch God bring water out of a rock and stay away from him? How do you watch God be a pillar of fire and a pillar of smoke and stay away from him? It's because you don't have a real relationship with him. Your whole relationship is different experiences. So many of us, this is us, we want God when it's convenient. God, we need water. I'm the greatest Christian in the world because I need something from you. Okay, thank you. Come again. I'm done. Be back when I need something. Right? We want God when it's convenient. I need prayer. You know what, Sean? You preach to me. I don't need quiet time. I don't need that. Back in school, I told you I was a straight A student, which is mostly true. But I didn't always get the why behind a lot of classes I took. Like, I didn't understand certain maths, the purpose. Why do I have to take geometry? It's so stupid. I'll never use it. You guys are like, amen, hallelujah. What's the point of algebra? When in my life am I ever going to have to find X? Unless I'm a pirate looking for treasure, right? You don't. It's stupid. Honestly, I don't need to know what parts of speech are. I don't care if run is a verb. How has that done anything to make me succeed in life? Right? I don't care if conjunction, junction, and their functions, and, but, and, or. Like it was a struggle in school because I didn't get why. So what did I do? I just did the work to get by, but it didn't stick with me, which is a recipe for disaster. Guys, I have a college degree, and I can't tell you 90% of what I did in college because I hated it. I didn't get why I was doing it, and I just did the work to get by. And for so many of us, that's our faith. We just don't get it, so we just try to get by. These people experience so much. Talking about thundering. Experience so much, but they're avoiding a real relationship with God. And you know what these people are? It seems like every time there's something horrible that happens in the world, and I don't want to get into details of every time, but here's one that happens a lot. There's a fight at school, and you see the video on Twitter, online, on Snapchat, and what do you see in the video? You see one person getting jumped by 5 people and a circle of people like this. And unfortunately, that is most of us in our faith. We're just a casual bystander. I love God when it's convenient for me, but there's a fight happening. Yo, you see this kid? He got stuck so hard. What a loser. Hashtag blessed. It's funny, but here's the thing. I've seen videos from you guys, from people in this room, of people in this room, in similar situations. But we become a casual bystander in our faith. But what did Moses do? Worship team, you guys can come up. Sorry, I went a little long. But what did Moses do? It says Moses drew near the thick darkness where God was. Guys, Moses had a real relationship with God. At this point, Moses, when he first encountered God, he said, God, why me? He sees this burning bush. He doesn't get it. He tries to get out of it. God, I'm not eloquent in speech. I can't do this. What if Pharaoh won't let them go? Who do I say sent me? God, not me. I'm not good enough. I can't do it. Every excuse in the book. But now this guy who wanted nothing to do with God's plan at first, this guy who was a murderer. If anyone in this room thinks they're bad, Moses was a murderer. But he drew near the thick darkness where God was. He found God as a loving father, not a close-fisted dictator. He got the why. The why wasn't, you have to learn this stuff to pass the class, but the why is God goes, because it's good for you. That's the why. In the end, God's plan is better for you. God's relationship is the best relationship you'll ever have. 8th graders, y'all are going into high school, and here's what you're going to see. You're going to think everyone's so mature. You're going to see some high schoolers that aren't serious about their relationship with the Lord. And unfortunately, more in that room that aren't than are. And you can sit and you can be this person your next 4 years, maybe 5, doing this. Or you can be the person that's in that room, that you're setting the example, that you're drawing near, that you're reading from the Bible, that you're taking notes, that you've developed. Why? Because it's good for you. You guys, I don't do what I do, one, for the money. I don't do what I do for the statistics. I don't have a trading card that says this many people have been saved in 678 services. This many people have gone on to do great things. Like, I'm not in it for me, but I'm in it because I wish I would have been serious about this when I was in middle school. And I went to middle school at Sawgrass Springs Middle School. I'm from down here. Ramblewood Elementary, Sawgrass Middle, Stoneman Douglas, Coral Glades for high school. Like I get it. I've been through it. I know the world's different, but I wish I would have gotten serious about this earlier. So guys, please, I beg you, if you never have before, as we get into this time of worship, draw near tonight. Forget your friends, forget your phones, forget what's going on around you, and draw near to Him. And I promise you, if you love God and love people, you will have the most fun you've ever had in your life. And it's good for you. Amen? Every adult in this room, every volunteer, every leader, people on this worship team, Danielle, they would look on, they would say, guys, listen, because it's good for you. And they would agree. Let's pray. Jesus.